Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We had some breaking news over Christmas Eve as Omarion Miller, the four-star wide receiver from the state of Louisiana in the 2023 class, has decided to commit to the Colorado Buffaloes in Coach Prime Deion Sanders. We've been talking about Coach Prime and the pathway to rebuilding this Colorado program a lot, and there's two ways he's got to do it. One, through the high school recruiting trail. That is kind of a longer term fix. That is how you build a program the slow way. And then you also have to hammer the transfer portal. He is doing both of that. And he's off to, honestly, a very, very good start. He came in a tough time. He decided to coach the Celebration Bowl, did not have a very long time to kind of get a 2023 class going before early signing day and get work done in the transfer portal. But he's doing both at a very high level. Before we get into the player, kind of what Colorado is doing and building, just want to say thank you guys for the support you guys have shown. Again, the support you guys have shown over the last couple of weeks truly means a lot. And if you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Let us know in the comment section your thoughts on Coach Prime at Colorado. All the support you guys have shown truly means a lot. We love making these videos, and you guys checking us out is absolutely awesome. So let's get into Omarion Miller first. The big deal, I think, here is you're seeing a kid who was committed to Nebraska, had offers from LSU, and he's deciding to choose Colorado. This is a massive 2023 recruiting win for Coach Prime. I mean, most kids from Louisiana, if you're a top 300 dude nationally, you don't leave the state. You normally go to LSU, and he beat out two big blue blood programs to get a very, very talented wide receiver who, if you check out his highlights, 6'2", 195 pounds, very, very good ball skills. He's going to be a playmaker vertically down the field. Very excited to see how Coach Prime develops him because raw physical traits with the ball in the air. Very excited for that. I think the bigger story, though, with this is you got to check out what Colorado is doing with the limited time in the high school recruiting class. So we're going to pull up what this Colorado team looks like in 2023. Very impressive. I mean, keep in mind, Coach Prime has only been there for a couple of weeks, and he already has a top 25 class. You compare that to Colorado recruiting classes over the last couple of years, and it's not even close. I mean, Dylan Edwards flipped him from Notre Dame. Omarion Miller flipped him from Nebraska and beat out LSU for his commitment. Adam Hopkins, another top 300 receiver from the state of Georgia, now going to Colorado. This is what Coach Prime was brought in to do. And you look at these Colorado classes before that, checking out their 2022 class. 58th overall. That is one of the worst recruiting classes for the Power 5 level. Checking out 2021, it wasn't any better. And this is, I mean, when you look at why Colorado has struggled so much, 65. When you look at why Colorado has struggled so much over the last couple of years, it comes down to just not getting enough talent in that program. And that is why they bring in Coach Prime, to get that talent. What Coach Prime's special attribute is as a head football coach. And yeah, I think he's a very good developer. I mean, you've already seen some guys from Jackson State in his limited time. There's not really a track record to show how good he is at developing, but there's a couple guys making noise in the NFL. And obviously, Deion Sanders looks very, very good for his first 2 years at Jackson State. I think he's a good developer of talent too. But what I think most importantly Colorado brought Coach Prime in to do was to recruit and to bring talent in. And then you surround your team with coordinators and assistants that are very, very good at developing talent. That's kind of the key. Now, we talked about this a lot. I think there's two steps to this. One, kind of the more traditional, longer way of building a program is through the high school ranks. And there's no doubt about that. And Coach Prime already putting together a top 25 class in less than 3 weeks is very impressive. But if you want a quicker fix, you saw what Lincoln Riley did at USC, and we've kind of talked about this. You can attack the portal. You look at the portal this year in 2022, and it is absolutely loaded with Power 5 starters. And that is not what Colorado has right now. They went 1-11. Probably most of those players on that team shouldn't be starting at the Power 5 level. And Coach Prime made that very clear that he is going to bring in guys immediately who have proven that they can play at a high level, at the Power 5 level, at Division I. Just a Division I Power 5 level, because that was not what Colorado had. And I'd expect if you want Colorado to win 6-7 games next year, I think they're going to grab at least 30 guys through the transfer portal. I think that's how much talent this team needs, and how much they were lacking the last couple of years. We looked at their recruiting class. We looked at their transfer portal ranks. It wasn't good the last couple of years, and that's why they've struggled so much. And Coach Prime's already getting active in the transfer portal too. And if you read Twitter and you read some of those reporting, like guys are lined up to play for Coach Prime. And taking a look at some of the players that Coach Prime's already brought in, you have some guys from Jackson State that are proven talent. Landon Beebe coming over from Missouri State was a guy that a lot of people liked, adding some offensive line depth. You have some guys from Jackson State. Travis Hunter, obviously the former number 1 overall recruit. Deion Sanders, a guy that's played very, very high level of quarterback at Jackson State, obviously his son. Taj Austin, he's a Division I starter. I mean, I think he's a year 1 starter at West Virginia. If anything, gives you very good depth, played very good at West Virginia for a couple years. And then you get down here more, Vonta Bentley. Very good linebacker from Clemson, just couldn't really play due to so much talent that Clemson had at that linebacker spot. They also brought in a kid from Kent State that I know a lot of people wanted, Savion Washington, in the transfer portal. Offensive tackles in the transfer portal are hard to come by. Colorado landed one who probably starts immediately. And then Marshawn Nealand from Western Michigan. 10.5 tackles for a loss last year in the MAC. He's also probably a Power 5 level kind of guy. And so you're already seeing 6, 7, 8 guys who have committed to Colorado through the transfer portal. And again, if you follow Twitter, there is a lot of guys who want to go play for Coach Prime in Colorado. And I would expect maybe in the next couple of weeks, and that this early signing period for the transfer portal ends on the 18th of January, probably bringing in 10 to 15 more guys. And then after spring ball, you'll see some more Colorado guys leave, open up some scholarship spots. And I would guess he gets another 15 transfers probably after spring ball during the summer, coming in the summer. And I think that's kind of what you need. And what you're seeing is Coach Prime being successful on both ends. He's getting high school talent that can be developed within the program. But for next year, a lot of these 2023 guys are not guys that you're necessarily going to want to lean on as true freshmen. You need to go get guys who are 20, 21, 22-year-old dudes who've played college football for a couple of years, who've shown they can play at a high level, and bring those guys in for next year to inject immediate talent. That is what Lincoln Riley did. When you looked at that USC depth chart last year when Lincoln Riley took over, it was barren. A lot of guys were transferring out. There was a lot of roster turnover, and what Lincoln Riley did was attack the transfer portal, 20-ish guys that he brought in, and most of them were day one contributors, whether they were in the first deep or two deep guys. They were playing big-time football for USC, impactful football for USC during their first year. That is, in my mind, the key for Coach Prime in the first 2 years, is this team will not be competitive if the roster stays like it is. But if Coach Prime can go and get 20 to 30 to maybe 35 guys who can kind of inject immediate talent into this program, then you start seeing some early success for Colorado, and then you'll see Coach Prime kind of work that 2024, 2025 class. If this Colorado team wins 6 games and you see Coach Prime taking this program and transforming it, it's going to be a lot easier to recruit some of those high school guys, because right now it's probably awfully hard to tell a high school kid, even for Coach Prime, probably the best recruiter in the game right now, in my opinion, to tell a guy, hey, we went 1-11, but come over here and trust the process. If you win 6 games in 2023, trusting the process and committing to Coach Prime becomes a lot easier. And so I think hitting the transfer portal hard and having some immediate success is going to be important for Coach Prime. He's under the spotlight, and he's not looking for a slow rebuild. I don't think he's going to come in and expect to go 3-9 this year, where a lot of teams wouldn't be surprised if you have to take a couple of years to build this program. That's not what Coach Prime does. I don't think he's expecting to go 3-9. He wants to win immediately. And if you start winning immediately, I think selling the program of Colorado becomes a lot easier to those high school kids. And at the end of the day, I still think you want to build football programs through the high school recruiting ranks and get guys in as 18-year-olds and develop that culture. So when they're 20, 21, they're good ball players. They've been in that program for a while. We've seen some programs like Ole Miss try to build their program through the transfer portal, and I think you can have a certain amount of success there. But if you want to win national championships, you look at Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia. They recruit really well, and then they use the transfer portal to kind of fill in some gaps, not necessarily fill in a whole team. Colorado's going to need to do that for the first couple of years because the cupboards are so empty of talent at that program. But I think once you start winning some football games, recruiting the high school ranks is going to become a lot easier for Coach Prime. And you're going to start seeing him probably bring in top 10 classes pretty consistently. This is a really, really fun story to watch. I haven't watched a Colorado football game in probably 3 years. I'll be watching every single one of these because Coach Prime is electric. I'm confident that he's going to be able to build a program here. He has access to way more resources than he did at Jackson State. They already have an Amazon documentary coming out. This is probably one of the most fun programs to keep an eye on in 2023 and on. And I'll certainly be locked in. Now, I wanted to keep it short, give my takes on where Colorado is going. We're going to be talking a lot more Colorado football as the year goes on, as the offseason goes on. But again, wanted to leave it here and just say thank you guys for the support. Again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate y'all. Hoping you guys have a great holidays. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.